सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओं. We have completed chapter 4 in the last class. Today we are going to have a summary of the 4th chapter. The Vihanga Vikshanam, the bird's eye view of the entire 4th chapter. The 4th chapter can be understood by 3 different topics. The first topic is Avatara Rahasyam, the incarnation, avataram or incarnation of God. Why God has to come in the form of a human being? What is the cause and what is the nature of such avataram and what is the purpose? We see the difference between Jiva and Paramatma in terms of the cause, in terms of Swarupa, in terms of Uddesyam, the purpose. This is the first topic. The second topic is the very central theme of the 4th chapter, that is Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yogam. Jnanena Karma Sannyasam. Through Jnanam, you have to renounce karma. How you can do that? So that is explained in this central theme. And what are the advantages by renouncing karma through Jnanam? So this is the central theme. The third and the final one are the sadhanani and phalani. That means how to acquire the knowledge and how to stay in the nishtha. What are the various disciplines that are prescribed and what are the benefits by following this? So this is the nutshell. 3 topics, main topics: Avataram, Avatara Rahasyam. Then the second topic is Jnana Karma Sannyasam. The third topic is Sadhanas and the benefits. These are the 3 topics. We'll just go through topic by topic. The first topic is Avatara Rahasyam. When God appears in the form of a human being, it is called an avatara. Not necessarily in the human being. When God appears in this mundane world in some form, it is called an avatara. It may be in the form of a Kurma avatara, in the form of a Matsya avatara, in the form of a Narsimha avatara, or human being, anything. If God appears in this world in a specific form, it is called an avatara. And when God appears in a certain form, there is a cause. And what is that cause? First we'll see the Jiva. Why Jiva takes the birth? Jiva takes the birth because of his karma phala. Prarabdha we call it. In order to exhaust the prarabdha, jiva has to take the birth. So, the basic, why this karma, if you say, because of the ajnanam. Jiva has a lot of ajnanam because he doesn't know his real self. He thinks that he is the body, mind, sense complex. So he is accumulating papam and punyam because he is having that kartrutva bhavam and bhoktrutva bhavam. He feels that he is the doer and he is the enjoyer. Because of this doership and enjoyership, he accrues papam and punyam. Now this papam and punyam will lead him to the further janmas. So ajnanam is the basic cause for a human being to take birth. When a human being is ignorant of his real self, the higher self, then he thinks that he is inadequate and he wants to be full and complete. In order to become full and complete, he takes up various karmas. Because he takes up various karmas, that ego takes place. I am doing this, I am enjoying this. This kind of ego plays an important role. And with this, he accrues papam and punyam. If he does good work, a noble work, he accrues punyam. If he does if he does a bad work, harmful work, then he accrues papam. And this papam and punyam will lead jiva to take birth, because he has to experience the papam and punyam. To experience the papam and punyam, he needs to have a sariram. That is how a jiva takes birth. And the main cause of jiva to take birth is ajnanam. Now coming to God. God is not having any ajnanam. He is fully aware. God is sarvajnaha. So he is all-knowing. Because he is all-knowing, he is not ignorant. Then why he is taking birth? Because of the compassion. He is compassionate and he wants to do good to the world. So because of his compassion, he takes the form and appears in this world. So it is out of compassion the God appears in this world, not due to ignorance. Ajnanam is the cause for the janma of a jiva. The compassion is the cause for Bhagavan to take avatara. Avataranam means to descend. If it is a jiva, we will call it a clear fall from the higher state to a lower state. Whereas for Bhagavan, we don't say it is a fall, we will say it is an avataranam. He is descending for the sake of human beings, for the sake of the living beings. Bhagavan is taking the form of a human being or other living beings, like Matsyavatara, Kurmavatara and Narasimhavatara, all these avatars. So Bhagavan, when he takes the human form, he has to undergo the pain and pleasure as any human being undergoes. But because he is all knowing, he never complains. A human being complains that he is, is troubled by the world and he is in, a great sorrow. But Bhagavan never complains. Because he is all knowing, he knows that he is not karta nor bhokta. This is about the karanam, cause of an avatara. Then the second aspect of avatara is, what is the swarupam, what is the nature of avataram? The very nature. When you talk of the very nature, the body of a human being, first we'll see the Jiva Sariram. The Jiva Sariram is Panchabhautikam. It is made out of Panchabhutas. The Sthula Sariram is Panchabhutas, Karna Sariram is Panchabhutas, and the Sushma Sariram is Panchabhutas. Therefore, Jiva Sariram is Panchabhautikam. Jiva Sariram is Panchabhautikam. Whereas Paramatma Sariram is directly from Maya. Maya doesn't undergo any change. Directly from Maya, Paramatma Sariram occurs, happens. So it is Mayikam, not Panchabhautikam. So in certain avatars like Matsya Avatara, Narsimha Avatara, Kurma Avatara, the avatara comes and goes. They do not require Garbhavasa. They can appear suddenly and disappear, also disappear suddenly. So the Sariram is Mayikam, whereas a Jiva Sariram is Panchabhautikam. This is the very difference. Then the third topic, the first two topics are now covered. The first topic is the cause of avatara. The cause of avatara is the compassion. Then the swarupam. The swarupam is the human body is Panchabhautikam, whereas the God's body is Mayikam. Now, the final topic in this Avatara Rahasyam is why God has to take the form and appear in this world. What is the purpose? Uddesyam kim? Jiva Janma Uddesyam Papakshayam. To exhaust Papam and Punyam. Jiva has to take the birth. Whereas for Paramatma, this Papakshayam is not there because he is beyond Papam and Punyam. Paramatma need not exhaust Papam and Punyam. In the first place, he doesn't have any Papam and Punyam because he is beyond Papam and Punyam. Paramatma takes birth because there is a kind of decline in the dharma. When there is a decline in the dharma, he has to establish dharma. यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्. So, whenever there is a decline in the dharma, I do incarnate. I do take the form of a human being, then try to establish the dharma. This is what Paramatma declared in Bhagavad Gita. Then he also says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha duskrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So, there is a threefold purpose. One is called paritranam. The first one is called paritranam, sadhunam paritranam. In order to safeguard all sant purushas, so safeguard all noble people, he has to take birth. Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha dushkrutam, in order to evade all the evil forces in this world, all bad people in this world. So when he is evading the bad people in this world, he takes a twofold actions. Doctor, when he is treating a patient, he gives some medicines and tries to cure it. Disease is not curable. Like, if a person gets a gangrene or something like that, he has to, amputate that particular organ in order to safeguard the rest of the body. In the same way, Paramatma tries to transform the bad people. If they do not change, then he has to kill them. Dushta Sikshana. Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha dushkrutam. This vinasanam is not necessarily he will kill all of them. He will first try to transform them. If the transformation doesn't take place, then he has no other choice but to kill them. So this is the method. Then the third one is dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So whenever there is a decline in the dharma, I appear in the human form and try to establish dharma samsthapanarthaya. In order to establish dharma, I do incarnate from time and again. So, this is the Avatara Rahasyam. First cause, then we have the nature. The third one is the purpose or Uddeshyam. For Paramatma, the cause is compassion. For Jiva, the cause is Ajnana. For Jiva, the Janma is called the fall. For Bhagavan, the Janma is called Avatara. It is descent, not the fall. Bhagavat Sariram is Mayikam, Jiva Sariram is Panchabhautikam. Purpose is threefold: Sishta Rakshanam, Dushta Sikshanam, Dharma Rakshanam. These are the three purposes for which Bhagavan takes avatara. So, Bhagavan says, this dharma which I have, introduced in this world in the Vedic times is lost because of the long passage of time. So, I want to re-establish. I want to, give that to you so that it will be again established. Sayevayam maya tedya yogah proktah puratana bhaktosi me saka cheti rahasyam hetaduttamam. Evam saha evam maya tedya yogah proktah puratana. So this very ancient yogam I want to introduce to you. Why I want to introduce to you? Why did I choose you? Because you are my bhakta and you are my sakha. You are my devotee and also you are dear to me. Because of this I want to initiate you with this knowledge. So with this, the first topic, the Avatara Rahasyam, is over. The second topic is the central theme, which is very important, and this is the central theme, as you know. This talks about the Atma Jnanam. The Atma Jnana means your own real self. So, in this, Ajayamano Bahuda Vijayate. In Purusha Suktam it is said that Ajayamano Bahuda Vijayate. Bhagavan is birthless, though he appears in the human form. In the real sense, Bhagavan is birthless. From the standpoint of his superficial body, it appears as though he has taken birth and as though he is subject to birth and death. Ajopisan avyayatma bhutanam iswaropisan. So, I have no birth as such. He declares that he is birthless. As Atma, even Jiva is birthless and Jiva is deathless. This is what we are talking about Ajativadam in Mandukya Upanishad. Ajati means no birth. Ajopisan avyayatma. We do not have birth nor we have death. When it is possible, when you realize your real self. When you realize your real self means when you own up your Atma, Atma doesn't take birth nor it dies. So much so, an individual as Atma is not born nor will he die. Then do you mean to say that the body doesn't die? The body will die. The body will undergo all the 6 vikaras. Here we are talking about the Atma, not Anatma. Atma is the real self. So once you understand your real self, this kind of moham will not be there. Moham towards the body, mind, sense complex will not be there. So you will be free from all worries and anxieties. Because most of the people, the death, the very thought of death is a fearful thing. So this will clear that fear. That kind of fear will not be there once you have the Atmanishta. So you will be free from that worry. Marana bhayam will not be there. Jaramayam, Marana bhayam, all this will not be there when you own up Atma. Do you mean to say that we do not have the problems of old age? You will have problems of the old age. Shastra did not say that all your old age problems will vanish. No. you will have the problems, but you have a space between you and the body. When you think that you are the body, you are the mind, you are the sense complex, you are the body mind sense complex. When you think that you are the body mind sense complex, all the problems will shake you. Though the problem is very small, your mind blows up and makes you, very sad. But when you own up your Atma, the problems are not for Atma. Atma is your real self. So the old age problem is not there. The birth problem is not there. Death problem is not there. So that way you are free. You have the shock absorber to face any local problems. When you own up the Atma as your real self. So, yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjita, yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagda karmanam tamahum panditam buddhaha. So, all these karmas, all the actions he does here, they belong to the lower self. So, a jnani doesn't own up the kartrutvam or bhoktrutvam. So, when he is not owning up the kartrutvam or bhoktrutvam, he is free from agami and sanchitam. Agami is not created because he is not having any ownership or doership. So agami is not created and sanchitam is burnt. Jnanagni dagdha karmanam. So all his sanchitam, all his accumulated karmas are burnt because he owns up that higher self. Because he is owning up that higher self, he is free from papam and punyam. So there is no further janma for him, and while he is living, he can be happy. So in case of Jnani, what happens? He sold the house to the Lord, to the Paramatma. And the Lord is the owner of the entire property of the sadhaka. And sadhaka is just a trustee of the Lord's property. So earlier what he was telling, earlier what was the thinking? This is my house, this is my property, this is my bank balance. So this was the feeling. So I hold it firmly. So I have that bondage. Now what I do, I surrender everything to God. My property, my house, my body, my mind, my sense organs, everything to God. Then who am I? I am the caretaker of this body, mind, sense complex and the property associated with it. I am caretaker of God's property, not my property. There will be a lot of difference when you have this kind of feeling. When we do the Gruhapravesam, we enter the house with the photo of God. What does it mean? We are declaring that this house is yours. We are going to reside in your house. Hey Lord, kindly allow us. So that should be the attitude. So when we have that, this is called Jnana Karma Sannyasam. Jnana Karma Sannyasa means by virtue of Jnanam, you are renouncing all karmas. So this is a very beautiful and important idea. Tyaktva karmaphala sangam nityatrupto nirashrayah karmanya vipravartopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Tyaktva karmaphala sangam. So, karmaphala asangam. This jnani renounces all the karmaphalas. Renounces all the karmaphalas means he will have expectation, but he is not having any obsession. Like, we are learning Gita. When we are learning Gita, we will have an expectation. That means we want to know the Swarupa of Atma and own it up. This is our expectation. And own up that, the Atma as my real self. That is the expectation. So, when that is the expectation, when Guru teaches that to student, he will have full expectation that the student will absorb the knowledge. With that expectation only the Guru tries to communicate this knowledge. But somehow the student is not in a capacity to receive it. Then Guru should not be disappointed. This is what the karma phala asangam. The karma phalam is not in our hands. It is Ishvara prasadam. Ishvara gives the karma phala as per the prarabdha, as per our previous karma. He gives the karma phala basing on the prarabdha. So karma phala we cannot dictate. Karmas we can do, but karma phalas are not in our choice. So this karma phala asangam, the wooing the karma phalas, I must get this karma phala. I cannot tolerate if the karma phala is not in my favor. That kind of attitude is not there. So a jnani does work with full heart, without any dilution, with a dedicated mind. The work is worship. Every work is God's work. So for him, everything is divine. So he takes up the work with full concentration and with full vigor and enthusiasm. If it doesn't give him the results which he was expecting, he doesn't brood, because that is not within his domain. That is within the domain of karma. So he understands the matrix of karma, and the karma phala happens because of the previous karmas. So this is karma phala asangam tyaktva. So he is free from the bondage of karma phala. And nirasrayaha. Nirasrayaha means he doesn't lean on the worldly things. He leans on only God. He doesn't lean on local things. Nirasrayaha. So for such a jnani, karmanya pravartopi, even though he is doing all the work, he is in the thick of karmas. Karmani api pravartopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Saha nayeva kinchit karoti. So such a person is not doing anything. He is fully involved in the work. 100% doing the work. But Shastra says, Naiva kinchit karoti saha. He is not doing anything. He is not doing anything means what? So all that work, it should actually produce the karma, phala, that is papam and punyam. But for a jnani, it will not produce the papam and punyam. Basing on the work. Because he is doing the work for loka sangraham and without doership and without enjoyership. That is akarta abhokta. I am akarta, I am abhokta. With that feeling, with that kind of conviction, this person is doing the work. Therefore, karmani api pravartopi. Even though he is doing karma, he is not affected. He is not accruing any agami punyam or agami papam. So, that is the advantage of a jnani. Then we have one excellent sloka Paramatma gives here. That is Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmai Vatena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. So in this is talking about a Vaidika Brahmana who is involved in the ritual. So when he is involved in the ritual, various things are there. So that arpanam means the ladle, where the spoon which he is using in the yajnam, in the ritual, that ladle is Brahma. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi. The oblation, the offerings are Brahma. Brahma Agno, that Agni itself is Brahma. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam. That Yajna Prasadam Hutam, whatever is offered is Brahma. Brahma Karma Samadhina. Tena Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. The Yajamani, the Karta who is doing that Yajnam is Brahma. The Yajna Purusha is Brahma. The entire ritual is Brahma. So that way there is nothing other than Brahma there. The idea of this is Sarvam Brahmamayam. This entire world is Brahma, nothing but Brahma. Then you may ask, when we say Atmanatma Vivekam, we know how to do Atmanatma Vivekam. When you do that, you divide this entire universe into two. One is Atma, the other is Anatma. That means two things are there, Atma and Anatma. So, how can you say everything is Brahma? Even Anatma is Brahma in the real sense. As Sat and Chit, Anatma is also Brahma. Then why Anatma is there? Anatma is there as though, as Midya, Anatma is there. So in the real sense, Atma alone is there. Anatma is all Midya. So we have this Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi gives an idea that Sarvam Brahmamayam. When you have this thought, when you revel in this thought, you have a greatest advantage. What is that advantage? Everything is God. When we say, you don't have any dvesham. earlier what happens that Ishvara Srishti we see with a Jiva Srishti. We wear a spectacle with two lenses. One lens is called Dvesham, other lens is called Ragam. We see the world with Ragam and Dvesham. I like this, I don't like this. I prefer this, I don't prefer this. So this way we have this Ragam and Dvesham throughout our life. But now when you have this Brahma Drushti, Sarvatra Samadarsanam you have. So you don't have any kind of enmity on anybody. So that is the greatest advantage. Tatra ko mohaha kasokaha ekatra manupasyati. Ekatra manupasyati. So for such a jnani, there is no moham, there is no sokam. Because he sees everything as Atma. So that is how the jnana karma sannyasam, renouncing karma by jnanam, jnanena karma sannyasam. So through jnanam you can renounce karma. Renouncing karma means not inaction, not sitting idle. You will be doing the work, but at the same time the doership and the enjoyership is not there, because you always rebel with Atma. Atma has no doership, no enjoyership. There is no ego involved in your action. Therefore, the actions will not produce agami karma. Then the third and the final topic is the sadhanas and phalas. Paramatma gave 12 sadhanas. Each sadhana, each discipline or sadhana, he called it as a yajna. He labeled them as yajnam. And out of these 12 yajna, there is one yajnam called Brahma Yajnam. This Brahma Yajnam is nothing but Atma Vidya. One has to approach the Guru and exposed to the teaching, the Vedantic teaching, for a consistently long time. Assimilate this teaching doubtlessly and stay in that nishtha. There is what is called Sravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. 3 stages are there. So by this Sravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, one has to understand oneself in the real terms. Then one has to stay in that Atmanishta. The Atma should be the living reality. That is the scheme. So before Sravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, there is one more step required, that is processing the antakarnas. One must be ready and refined before acquiring the Atma Vidya. This readiness and refinement is required. In order to get this readiness and refinement, one has to perform various disciplines. One has to undergo various disciplines or sadhanas. Those sadhanas, 11 are given. However, there are many sadhanas, only sample, say 11 sadhanas are given. You can take up a few of them or all of them and then acquire antakarana suddhi. Chitta suddhi, chitta ekagrata. You can get by these 11 sadhanas. What are those sadhanas? The sadhanas other than Brahma Yajnam we are talking. The first sadhana is Daiva Yajnam. That is Nitya Puja. Daily one has to devote some time for the puja, Nitya Naimittika puja. If you have a Sandhya Vandanam, do the Sandhya Vandanam. Otherwise, do simple puja. So that is Daiva puja or Daiva Yajnam. We get up with Karagre Vasate Lakshmi. So our the entire life is full of puja. So that is all Daiva Yajnam. First one is Brahma Yajnam, second one is Daiva Yajnam, third one is Indriya Samyamana Yajnam. Indriya Samyamana Yajnam means the mastery over Indriyas. Indriyas, they play a lot of havoc. If not checked properly, the sadhaka becomes a slave of Indriyas and his total direction will be lost. He is totally into all bad habits if they are not checked properly. Indriya Nigraham, the mastery over Indriyas, are very much required. So this is called Dhamma Yajnam. Then Sama Yajnam. Sama Yajnam means the control of the mind. Mind control is very, very important because mind is the main master over Indriyas. Only if the mind blesses, Indriyas function. Therefore, the mind control or mastery over the mind is very important for spiritual growth. This is called Atma Samyamana Yajna. Then Indriya Vishyabhoga Yajna. Indriya Vishyabhoga Yajna means our eyes, they come in contact with all, pictures. This is inevitable. Similarly, ears are in contact with various sounds and music. Nose is in contact with different smells. Tongue is in contact with different tastes. Skin is in contact with various objects. This way, all our 5 sense organs will spread 5 different worlds before us. So, Indriya Vishyabhoga Yajna means this experience is a must. You cannot avoid this. You cannot stop this. So what you have to do? You have to fix filters. You have to process what you are seeing. You have to process what you are hearing. Like that, you should choose only the good things. That is called Indriya Vishyabhoga Yajna. See good things, hear good things, then understand good things. Like that, you have to have the priority for the good things. This is called Indriya Vishyabhoga Yajna. So after this, we have got Dravya Yajnam or Dana Yajnam. Dhanam is mentioned specially in every portion of Vedanta, because this is the rare opportunity for every human being, because only when he is a human being he can perform this Dhanam. So by doing Dhanam, you can widen your antakarnas. By holding this, you only contract, you become very small. So from a consumer to a contributor, or Pujya Swamiji's slogan. So you be a contributor to the world. So far now you are consuming the all worldly things. Now contribute to the world. From your side, you contribute in such a way that you can help a poor student. You can help a needy person. You can help a person who wants food. So that way, Dhanam is very, very important discipline one has to perform. This is called Dravya Yajnam in this. After Dravya Yajnam, we have Tapo Yajnam, that is willful self-denial. Willful self-denial is one yajna. So this is like Mauna Vratam, then taking up Padayatra. So there are so many disciplines. We can take up all these vratas. This is called tapas. Meditation also will come under tapas. Then yoga yajna, various asanas are there. Ashtanga yogam, Patanjali Ashtanga yogam. This is one yajna. This will help you to grow spiritually. So, yoga yajnam is another discipline which we have to perform. Then swadhyaya yajnam. Swadhyaya yajnam or Swadhyaya yajnam means we have to do parayanam of Rudram, Vishnu Sahasranamam, then Purusha Suktam, Bhagavad Gita one chapter, Taitriyam one valli. So this is Swadhyaya. This is a daily course. This is one yajna. Then we have Jnana Yajnam. Jnana Yajnam means not Atma Vidya. Jnana Yajnam is the local knowledge. Paravidya, Aparavidya. We have got two different Jnanams. Paravidya is Atma Vidya. Aparavidya is the local knowledge. So we should have the local knowledge also in order to do the transactions in this world. Local thing like doing how you can perform your puja, all this they come under the Veda Purva. This Veda Purva is called the Jnanam here. Then Pranayama Yajna. Pranayama Yajna is the disciplining your breath. So you should have a control on your breath so that it will help you in quietening the mind, because mind and prana, they are interlinked. So pranayama is very important. This is one spiritual sadhana. Then the last one is ahara niyama yajna. You should not overeat, or you should not do too many upavasas. So ahara niyamam is very important. You have to observe a strict diet control. What type of food you have to take and how much you take. All this will be discussed in future at length. So having taken up all this, tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadetshanti te jnanam jnaninat tattvadarsina. So having prepared yourself, refined, you have to approach a guru and do pranipatam. You have to do Sashtanga Namaskara and ask him the Atma Vidya. He will explain the Atma Vidya to you, and stick to him until the time you get Atma Vidya, until you are established in the Atmanishta. The benefits of this Atma Vidya are four. The first one is Mohanashanam. All your delusion will go. What is the delusion? Delusion is I have ragam and dvesham. I have associated with body, mind, sense complex and the allied things. So I think that I am the body, mind, sense complex, and the allied things to body, mind, sense complex are mine. I syndrome and mind syndrome. This is called moham. This moham will vanish. Then papanashanam. Papanasana means all your papams will be cleared. For Papanasanam, we have various other activities like Prayaschitta Karmas, Ganga Snanam, all these things are there. But whereas by clearing this Ajnanam, the Papam will go for good. Papam and Punyam both will go for good. Therefore, Karma Kshayam, Karmanasanam, you don't have any balance of karma. Then, Jiva Ishvara Aikya Darshanam. By this knowledge, you understand that Jiva and Ishvara both are same in terms of the Chaitanyam. In reality, Jiva and Ishvara are same. So, that means I am Ishvara in the real sense. I am Ishvara in the real sense means my reality is Chaitanyam. The Ishvara's reality is also Chaitanya. Therefore, I am that Ishvara in reality. So this darshanam will broaden your outlook and help you to have Jivan Mukti in this world, the Anandam here and now, and also the compassion you can have with this world. Therefore, the balance of your life will be very, joyful. So this is the summary of Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yogo Nama Chaturdodhyayaha. Om Tat Sat Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudatyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.